Right here, broadcasting live from Media Campus West. It's a Reese Radio type of day, along with Magic 107.5, 97.5, Real Sound of Atlanta. We got a lot of people here today. We're going to go ahead and let that be known. So if you hear some background noise, that's because we have a very special guest. And we had to roll out the red carpet for this one because this lady is making sure that people who need their voices heard the most get their voices heard. Not only does she represent in the courtroom, but she also represents for the community. Without further ado, let me introduce you guys to a personal friend of the show, as well as just a great woman and beautiful human being, Tessie D. Edwards, attorney at law. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay. Let's get to talking because you have an extensive history, right, in the courtroom. I do too, but it's mainly for parking tickets and stuff.
Okay.
Right. But you really have something like amazing going on. We met you through a personal situation. You've helped navigate through that. You've also helped so many other people that needed it the most. You know what I'm saying? But you do your thing in that courtroom. I was a little frightened. I'm not gonna lie. You know what you're doing back there.
Well, I try.
Yeah. So let's get into your history a little bit. You do family law. It seems like you have a deep passion for that. I've seen it firsthand. But you have a background from prosecution standpoint, thousands of cases.
I do.
Right.
I do.
You've helped people protect their assets.
Always.
Right. You've helped people get families back. Right.
Absolutely.
And you're doing it in a major way from Atlanta. If you guys are tuning in on our side, on the streaming side, we appreciate you guys. The chat's going crazy already. We will get to questions. We know you'll have questions. She usually charges for that, but today she's gonna answer some questions today. But kind of give us a little background, like what made you want to get into like practicing law in the first place?
Well, actually, I've known that I wanted to be an attorney since elementary school.
Okay, you was arguing with the teachers.
I was arguing with the teachers. I was arguing with my stuffed animals. I was arguing with sisters and brothers, everybody. But when I had that one teacher that told me it was not realistic, and she actually asked me if I like to cook.
Really,
and shout out to Titusville, Florida. It put it in me that okay, clearly you're gonna have to show people what you mean. And I was in elementary school, so
wow.
And I met a African-American Black female lawyer when I was in 8th grade. And that was the first time that it clicked. Like, this is not just a pipe dream. They really do exist. And I can get paid to do what I really like to do, which is argue.
I love that, man. That representation matters so much. And we say that, we see it in TV shows and things, but you just said it firsthand. You saw an African-American woman attorney, and that turned the light bulb on for you.
It did. Also, for me personally, I think I know that I go as hard as I do for families and particularly fathers, but I do represent moms as well for not having my own father in my life. And it is an important thing in our community that when men want to stand up and want to be at the forefront for their children, that they have the opportunity to do so. And our legal system doesn't always afford them that opportunity and their right. And a lot of times it's just about not knowing what you're entitled to, not knowing what your rights are. So as a fatherless girl, it's very important to me that fathers have that opportunity to be fathers and be present in their children's lives.
What I just heard was character and integrity, because you could have taken it one way. You could have said, well, he wasn't in my life. I'm going to make sure I just represent the ladies that need to be represented. But you're like, you know what? There are fathers out there that need to be in their kids' life that want to be, that aren't afforded that opportunity.
I know that it's in children's best interest to have both of their parents in their life. And I know how much it means for little brown girls to have their fathers be their first love and be their heroes and be their role models. And it's more important that little brown boys have it. But a lot of people forget that children really do need both of their parents. And regardless of how the relationship ended, a bad breakup or whatever, when I tell you it's not about you, and I know you've heard me say that personally, it is absolutely not about you. Long after the marriage, the breakup is over, what you do and do not do for your child will have residual effects on how they are raised, how they navigate the world, how their children and their grandchildren navigate. So it's so much bigger than just you and your spouse that you're fighting with.
I love that. Let me hit the hype bell for that. You said about 6 hype bellable moments, but I didn't want to cut you off, so we'll just go hit it in between those times. Now, you have an incredible story. I was like very moved by you were telling me your history and how you got through certain things and how you persevered. Would you mind talking about that and just kind of letting people in a little bit?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, of course, I share with you that I
Yes.
did not graduate high school. I am a teen mom. I'm 18 years old with 2 children. High school dropout. Got a GED, my AA, then my bachelor's, and then law school. So when I tell you everything I have,
Yes,
I got it out the mud, literally.
Literally.
Like working. And I will say it not to be cheesy, not to be coy, but you meet people in your life and you have that pivotal, like that give you that push, like you can do everything.
Yeah.
My husband Charles, I don't see him anywhere, but he is that person that's always just been a cheerleader. That you got, like, that man will have me thinking I can do brain surgery, and I know that I cannot. He's like, if that's what you want, we got it. How do we figure it out? Let's go. And so I'm a very driven person naturally, but having that support and that village around you that lets you know, just be you, just be comfortable, and just do you. So the combination of the two. But it does surprise a lot of people that I'm not a high school graduate, and so it's never about where you land. It's about just making sure you stay on the journey. Just keep pushing, and it has definitely not been easy, but I have always looked at it as inconveniences, not obstacles.
Yeah, man, come on now. That sounds like a book and a t-shirt. We're gonna talk about it in a Netflix movie. I hope they're watching. When you say your story, obviously we hear perseverance, but now you look and your history and you just shared it with everybody. How does that feel to see? Because like even walking in here today, we see the signs up. You have your own law firm, your own firm, that you have other people under your belt. You're handling these high profile and high dollar cases. Do you ever look back and be like, wow, this is little Tessie that didn't graduate high school and look at me now?
Not really, honestly. I mean, I knew I was great before y'all knew it.
Hey, talk to him. Let me hit it again. I love it.
I don't look at it like, oh, this is little Tessie, and look at me now, because I really mean it from a humble place that there's so much more to do, and I have just barely began to start on what I intend to do. And so I don't really stop and look at, this. When I tell you I have, if I could curse, I would. I have so much on my plate to do that I don't stop and look around and I'm like, look how far I've come. I'm always looking at, what do I need to do next?
The finish line keeps moving.
It keeps moving. Like the target is, I am a moving target. One of my dear friends and associates, she says that all the time. You're a moving target. I'm a moving target, and it's true. Yeah,
it absolutely is. It's one thing me and my pop say. We say the finish line always moves. So it's like I don't ever look back and be like, oh, I did that. It's always like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? But we want to give you your flowers and hit this hype bell a few times because we see you. We absolutely appreciate what you're doing. You are the representation that is going to motivate other people to get it out the mud and do what they need to do too.
Well, I appreciate you guys as well. I've been so impressed. And when I met you and your dad, I went home telling my husband, like, blah, 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 blah. Not just as a radio personality. I was so impressed by you and your dad interaction, how much you guys do in the community. And I told you then, if there's ever an opportunity to work with you, to partner with you, to do something in the community, and it doesn't have to be a media press or anything, just Tessie, we need you to help hand out some meals. I'm there.
Right. And you do that even without us. You've been doing that. You've been an advocate. You give your time, and not just the work that attorneys are supposed to do with the pro bono stuff. Like, you give your time, you get hands out there in the city and making sure that people are taken care of. So we want to say we thank you for that too, because even though some people may not, we want to say we appreciate it and see what you're doing, because you don't have to.
I appreciate it. I grew up extremely poor is an understatement. My brother and I laugh about it now. Like, there were times that we literally ate out the garbage can. And there were times that we were digging through garbage cans looking for cans to sell and bottles to sell, and clothes were coming from Goodwill or and it was, lights were turned off. We were living with relatives off and on. So it was a struggle. Like, growing up was a struggle, but everybody around me was struggling like that. So I didn't know that it wasn't normal.
Right.
I was that kid that your father would have paid my tuition, my field trip for me to go, or I would not have went. I was that kid that had the holes in my shoes and that type of stuff. So I was that kid. Being smart was never an issue, but trying to stay focused when the lights are off and when you literally don't have school supplies was something different. And always feeling like not knowing where the next thing is going to happen, not knowing what's coming next. Which when I came today, it kind of threw me off for a minute, and Danny had to talk me down. But I'm just like, I like being in control because from a very, very young age, if I was not in control of what happened to my life, I just did not know what was going to happen. You don't know if you're going to eat. You don't know if the lights are going to work. You don't know if you're going to have paper when you go to school the next day. So I just really learned that anything I want, I had to be responsible for getting it.
Right. That makes a whole lot of sense. But the way that you're able to move through that and navigate that, like you said, it gives you a sense of control. But I think that also makes you so powerful as not just an attorney, but as a person. You know, because you like, I know what it could be if I don't keep moving and what to put out there for others.
Absolutely. I do know what it can be. I'm not afraid of being broke. I've been there, but I never intend to be there again.
Right, right.
And so, and I have children, you know, I have 7 children, love them all. And that inspires me to want to give them things I didn't have.
Right, right.
To make sure that they're never worried about lights and where to live and eat and having a good education. So they inspire me. Sometimes they irritate me, but they mostly inspire me.
Right. No, I get that. But I think that's what as we as parents do, because as many things as my parents try to do for me, I try to do triple for my you know, kids, and hopefully they take it as a way of is a humility attached to it as well. And I think because your kid's able to see you, I know your daughter works with you, and she's a bulldog too, you know. So I could just see how the apples don't fall far from the tree per se.
We try.
Yeah, yep. So I know you're going to be doing some great things in the community with the city. I see the mayor is here from the city of Austell. Ali Clemens, the first African-American mayor of the city of Austell, is here. We're going to be doing a great Juneteenth event. You jumped on to support that, so we appreciate that. Let me hit the hype bell for that, because just bringing the community together and threading it together is what it's all about.
It is. It is. And I spoke to Tiny earlier, and absolutely it is very important. Obviously, you know that it is important to be involved in the community, and she and I talked about that a little bit as well.
Yep.
So
no, man, I think all of those things kind of combine together, and to be able to bring you out on stage is amazing, because somebody affected you when you saw them. Like you said, you met this woman who was an attorney, and it made it absolutely feasible. We don't know what little girl or little boy is going to be out there in the audience that's going to see you and be like, oh, she looks like me. I could do this. I can go argue in court too. So we like that. Let's jump a little bit. We're going to go to a quick break, but I do want to jump a little bit because I definitely want to talk about the family law, how you got into that. Obviously, you have a large family that would drive anybody to want to make sure families are okay. And you gave us your motivation already, but we did something for the firm. We wanted to just share that with you and our audience before we go to break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Juneteenth a little bit. Is that okay with you?
It's all right.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and play something from Media Campus West. Divorce is hard enough.
You better do what I did and call Tessie D. Edwards and Associates.
Having an unexperienced attorney can make it even harder. Get the firm that gets it right so you won't have to fight. Tessie D. Edwards and Associates. For years, they have specialized in contested and uncontested divorces, property division, divorce by publication, custody, alimony, and more. Tessie D. Edwards and Associates wholeheartedly understands that all situations have two sides and fathers have rights too. Call today to schedule your consultation at 404-330-8833. That's 404-330-8833, or visit the website TessieDEdwards.com and allow them to put together a powerful defense for your divorce case. Tessie D. Edwards and Associates, personalizing your case and putting the family in family law. Call us today at 404-330-8833 or visit TessieDEdwards.com. Let Tessie D. Edwards fight for you so you can focus on family.
And that was from us to you.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
I appreciate that.
She was just talking about you so good, we had to bring you on camera. Don't have me over here having a Gail moment. I'm about to be crying and stuff. We're not going to do that today. I'm already light-skinned and think I'm soft. But nah.
I heard about you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm not soft. No, I was kidding. But no, we appreciate you guys. I appreciate the first call we made to the firm. You picked the phone up. And then that's how this whole situationship started. So we just wanted to just say we appreciate y'all. As a whole. And she was just saying some riveting and moving things. She's going to help me get a daytime Emmy from this conversation, so we'll take it. But we wanted to bring you on camera, just acknowledge and let everybody kind of see the embodiment and the character behind the firm. And hopefully you guys get to it. When we come back from break, what we're going to do is bring another special guest here. We have, like I said, our illustrious mayor of the city of Austell, where Media Campus West is. We got some other special guests in the building. Y'all can make some noise in the background. Go ahead. I see y'all. We actually have a live in studio audience today, so it's definitely cool. Shout out to you, 42. We're going to go to quick break, get to the mix on the radio side. On the video side, you guys stay tuned. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Everywhere else we broadcasting that. We'll be right back. Love y'all. Stay tuned. It's Reach Radio.